This is a Fonzie Studio podcast. Welcome to Tales from the First Nations. I'm Jay Idle, and every week I'll share with you a tale and ancient wisdom of the native tribes of North America. I'll be joined by my cats, Dawa and Fonzie, who will undoubtedly make their presence known at some point, so I might as well just list them as co-hosts. We hope you'll enjoy the tales and wisdom, raise your vibration, and enrich your life with us every week. Welcome, friends. Welcome to the 47th episode of Tales from the First Nations. I'm your host, Jay Idle. The days are cooling down. The nights are getting colder. Let's talk about the sun. We're finishing our sun trilogy today with a few wise words from our warm friend in the sky. We have two stories today, and our first story comes from the Cheyenne. It involves a trickster character that's new to our podcast named Viho. He's a trickster spirit, and funnily enough, he tries to trick the sun. Sun teaches Viho a lesson. Sun had beautiful, wonder-working leggings, which could set the prairie on fire and drive the game towards the hunter's bow. Viho, the clever trickster, greatly admired them, and one day, when he came to visit, he sneaked off with them when Sun was not looking. Chuckling, Viho said to himself, "Now I can work many miracles and be the world's greatest hunter." Toward evening, he was tired from running so fast and so far. Sun can't catch up with me now, he decided. Rolling up the magic leggings and placing them under his head for a pillow, he laid down to sleep. He slept well, but in the morning he found himself back in Sun's teepee. Viho is so stupid, he didn't know that all the world is contained within Sun's lodge. But though he was surprised to wake up there after running so far and fast, he's hard to embarrass. Sun smiled and said, what are you doing with my leggings?" Viho may be stupid, but he's never at a loss for an answer. He said, I just put my head on them to sleep softly. I knew you wouldn't mind." "Oh, no, I don't mind," said Sun. You can use them as a pillow if you want to." Sun knew very well that Viho was lying, as usual, and meant to steal the wonder-working leggings again. But he only said, "Well, I must go walk my daily path." "Don't hurry back," said Viho. "I'll keep an eye on your lodge." Once he could no longer see Sun, Viho ran off with the leggings again, this time twice as fast and twice as far. Again he went to sleep, and again he woke to find himself inside Sun's teepee. Sun laughed and told Viho, "If you're that fond of my leggings, you can keep them. Let's pretend that I'm holding a giveaway feast and that you got those as a present." Viho was overjoyed. "I never meant to steal these beautiful leggings, friend Sun. You know me. I'm always up to some tricks. I was only fooling, but now that you've given them to me of your own free will, I will gladly accept." Viho could hardly wait to get away from Sun's lodge and put on the leggings. Wearing them, he ran over the prairie and ignited the grass to drive the buffalo towards him. But Viho did not have Sun's power. He couldn't handle such a big fire, and it scorched his soles and blistered his feet. "Friend Sun, come and help me out," he cried. "Help your poor friend. Where are you? Sun, come put out the fire." But Sun pretended not to hear, and soon Viho's leggings were on fire. Crying from pain, he plunged into the nearest stream. By then it was too late. The leggings were ruined, and Viho's legs blistered. When Viho begged Sun to make him a new pair of leggings, Sun said, "Even I can't make magic leggings once more. I'm sorry, friend. Be more careful in the future." Sun could easily have made another pair, of course, but then Viho wouldn't have learned a lesson. Viho was a little foolish to try and trick the Sun. Stealing is always bad, it always ends bad, and it's even worse when you steal from the Sun. In our final story, we turn to a story from the Hopi people. Now, I don't know if I've mentioned this before or not, but we are talking about the Sun, and it's a good time to mention it again. My cat, Dawa, his name means moon in Tibetan, but Tawa means sun in Hopi. It's kind of amazing, right? Same word. One means sun, one means moon, other side of the earth. It's kind of cool. It's kind of interesting. Well, as I said, the Hopi people provide our last story, and this story is rather interesting in that it encompasses multiple cultural elements where cultures overlap. In areas of the Southwest, it's kind of a mixture of Hispanic, Pueblo, and nomadic traditions, and legends are often modified and reshaped in their retelling. This story was told in 1920 by a Zuni elder who may have been part Hispanic, and he gives kind of a curious twist to the Hopi tales of the Sun. Besides the traditional Hopi elements such as the trail of sacred cornmeal and the sun's fox skin, it embodies the fear and antagonism felt by the Pueblo farmers towards the marauding nomadic tribes. So at the same time, it's full of things unknown to the Pueblos before the coming of the Spaniards, such as peaches, silver bracelets, and the ocean itself. So it's a very interesting rendition of this story because it encompasses so many different cultures. But this is The Hopi Boy and the Sun. A poor Hopi boy lived with his mother's mother. The people treated him with contempt and threw ashes and sweepings into his grandmother's house, and the two were very unhappy. One day he asked his grandmother who his father was. "Oh, poor boy, I don't know," she replied. "I must find him," the boy said. "We can't stay in this place. The people treat me too badly." "Grandchild, you must go and see the sun. He knows who your father is." On the following morning, the boy made a prayer stick and went out. Many young men were sitting on the roof of the kiva, the underground ceremonial chamber. They sneered when they saw him going by, though one of them remarked, "Better not make fun of him. I believe the poor little boy has supernatural powers." The boy took some sacred meal made from pounded turquoise, coral, shell, and cornmeal and threw it upward. It formed a trail leading into the sky, and he climbed until the trail gave out. He threw some more of the sacred meal upward, and a new trail formed. After he had done this 12 times, he came to the sun. But the sun was too hot to approach, so the boy put new prayer sticks into the hair at the back of his head, and the shadow of their plumes protected him from the heat. "Who is my father?" he asked the sun. "All children conceived in the daytime belong to me," the sun replied. "But as for you, who knows? You are young and have much to learn." The boy gave the sun a prayer stick, and falling down from the sky, landed back in his village. On the following day, he left home and went westward, hoping to begin learning. When he came to the place where Holbrook, Arizona now stands, he saw a cottonwood tree and chopped it down. He cut a length of the trunk to his own height, hollowed it out, and made a cover for each end. Then he put in some sweet cornmeal and prayer sticks and decided he was ready to go traveling. Climbing into the box, he closed the door and rolled himself into the river. The box drifted for 4 days and 4 nights until finally he felt it strike the shore at a place where 2 rivers joined. He took the plug out of the peephole he had made and saw the morning light. But when he tried to get out, He couldn't open the door, no matter how hard he pushed. He thought he would have to die inside. In the middle of the afternoon, a rattlesnake girl came down to the river. When she discovered the box, she took off her mask and looked into the people. "What are you doing in there?" she asked the boy. "Open the door. I can't get out," he said. The girl asked, "How can I open it?" "Take a stone and break it." So the girl broke the door, and when the Hopi came out, she took him to her house. Inside, he saw many people, young and old, men and women, and they were all rattlesnakes. "Where are you going?" they asked him. "I want to find my father," the boy replied. The girl said, "You can't go alone. I'll go with you." She made a small tent of rattlesnake skins and carried it to the river. They crawled into the tent and floated for 4 days and 4 nights. Finally, they reached the ocean, and there they saw a meteor fall into the sea on its way to the house of the sun. They asked the meteor to take them along. In this manner, they reached the sun's house, where they found an old woman working on turquoise, coral, and white shell. She was the moon, the mother of the sun. "Where is my father?" the boy asked. "He's gone out," the moon replied, "but he will be home soon." The sun arrived in the evening, and the old woman gave him venison and wafer bread. After he had eaten, he asked the boy, "What do you want here?" The boy replied, "I want to know my father." "I think you are my son, and when I go into the world, you shall accompany me," the sun said this time. And early the next morning he said, "Let's go." He opened a door in the ground, and they went out. Seating himself on a stool of crystal, the sun took a fox skin and held it up. Daylight appeared. After a while, he put the fox skin down and held up the tail feathers of a macaw, and the yellow rays of sunrise streamed out. When at last he let them down, he said to the boy, "Now, let's go." The sun made the boy sit behind him on the stool, and they went into another world. After traveling for some time, they saw people with long ears. They used their ears as blankets to cover themselves when they slept. The sun remarked, "If bluebird droppings fall on these people, they die." "How is that possible?" the boy said. "How could people be killed that way? Let me kill the birds." The sun said, "Go ahead, I'll wait." The boy jumped down, took a small cedar stick, and killed the bluebirds. Then he roasted them over a fire and ate them. The people shouted, "Look at this boy! He's eating Navajos!" "No," said the boy. "These aren't Navajos, they're birds." Then he went back to the sun, and they traveled on. About noon, they came to another town. The sun said, "Look, the Apache are coming to make war on the people." The boy saw a whirlwind moving along. When wheat straw was blown against the legs of the people, they fell dead. "How can people be killed by wheat straw?" he said. "Let me go down and tear it up." The sun said, "I'll wait." The boy jumped down, gathered the wheat straw, and tore it up. The people said, "Look at this boy, how he kills the Apache." "These aren't Apache," the boy replied. "They're wheat straws." Then he went back to the sun. They came to another town where the Hopi boy saw people with very long hair, reaching down to their ankles. They had a large pot with onions tied to its handles. Inside it, thin mush was cooking and boiling over, and when it hit a person, he died. The sun said, "Look at the Jicarilla Apache, how they kill people." "No," said the boy, "that's not Jicarilla Apache, it's mush. I'll go down and eat it." The sun said, "I'll wait." Then the boy jumped down, dipped the mush out of the pot, took the onions from the handles, and ate the mush with the onions. The people said, "Look how this boy eats the brain, hands, and feet of the Jicarilla Apache." The boy said, "This isn't Jicarilla Apache, it's corn mush. Come and eat with me." "No," they said, "we're not cannibals. We don't eat Apache warriors." Then the boy went back to the sun, and they traveled on. Finally, they came to the house of the sun in the east. There the sun's sister gave them venison stew for supper. After they had eaten, the son said to his sister, "Wash my son's head." The son's sister took a large dish of water and suds into it, and washed the boy's head and body. Then she gave him new clothing, the same kind that the son was wearing: buckskin trousers, blue moccasins, blue bands of yarn to tie under the knees, a white sash and belt of foxskin, turquoise and shell earrings, a white shirt, silver arm rings, beaded bracelets, and a beaded necklace. She put macaw feathers in his hair and a sacred blanket over his shoulders, and gave him a quiver of mountain lion skin. Then the son told him, "Go ahead, I'm going to follow you." The boy opened the door in the ground and went out. He sat down on the crystal stool, took the fox skin and held it up to create the dawn. Then he put it down and raised the macaw feathers, holding them with the palm of his hand stretched forward until the yellow rays of the sunrise appeared. After that, he dropped his hands and went on into the upper world. As he did, the people of Laguna Isleta and the other eastern pueblos looked eastward and sprinkled sacred meal. The sun behind him said, "Look at the trails, the life of the people. Some are short, others are long. Look at this one. He is near the end of his trail, and he is going to die soon." The boy saw an Apache coming, and in a short time the Apache had killed that man whose trail had been so short. The Hopi boy said to the sun, "Let me go and help the people." "I'll wait," the sun replied. The boy jumped down into the territory where the Laguna people were fighting the Apache. He told the people to wet their arrow points with saliva and hold them up to the sun, for this would help them in battle. The boy himself killed 10 Apaches, then went back to his father. They traveled on, and when they saw a group of Navajos sitting out to make war on the Zuni, the boy killed them. He and his father crossed the land of his own people, the Hopi, and then came to Mexican territory. A Mexican was playing with his wife. When the son saw them, he threw the Mexican aside and cohabitated with the woman. "I don't need a wife," he told his son, "because all women on earth belong to me. If a couple cohabits during the daytime, I interfere as I just did, so I'm the father of all children conceived in the daytime." In the evening, the son entered his house in the west, and then the boy wanted to go back to his own people. So the son's mother made a trail of sacred flour, and the boy and the rattlesnake woman went back eastward over it. At noon, they came to the rattlesnake's home. The rattlesnake woman said, "I want to see my father and mother. After that, let's go on." They entered the house, and she told her relatives that the Hopi boy was her husband. Then they resumed their journey. That evening, they arrived at the Hopi village. The boy made straight for his grandmother's house. But an old chief said, "Look at that handsome man going into that poor home." He invited the boy into his own house, but the boy replied, "No, I'm going here." The war chief said, "We don't want you in that dirty house." "The house is mine," the boy replied, "so tell your people to clean it up. When all of you treated me badly, I went up to the sun and he helped me." On the following evening, the boy appeared before a village council and told all that had happened to him. "You must teach the people how to act rightly. The sun says that you should forbid all bad actions." The people accepted his words, and everyone worked hard at cleaning his house. In return, the boy gave peaches, melons, and wafer bread to the poor. Every evening after sunset, the women would come with their dishes, and he would offer them venison stew and peaches. He said to the chief, "I teach the people the right way to live. Even if you are my enemy, I must show you how to behave well." Twin children, a boy and a girl, were born to his wife. They had the shape of rattlesnake, but they were also humans. It is rather interesting to think of the sun as the father to so many of us, and especially how that comes to be. It's good, though, that his son learned the way that things should be and taught his people. It's very respectable and fortunate for us. This concludes our trilogy with the sun. I look forward to sharing more stories with you next week. It's with respect and gratitude that I offer you my blessings and thank you for sharing your journey with me and sharing your time with me on this podcast. I wish you well and look forward to sharing another story with you next week. If you do enjoy the podcast, please like and review us on your podcast platform of choice so we can further grow our family. And feel free to reach out to me, talesfromthefirstnations@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you, and if there's something that you would like to learn about or stories that you would like to hear, let me know. Go in peace, return in peace, and may you be well. Both of our stories today come from the now defunct pyramidmesa.com. Sun Teaches Veho a Lesson was told by Strange Owl in Bernie, Montana. The Hopi Boy and the Sun is based on a legend reported by Franz Boas in 1922. For more great stories and legends, check out the Jaguar Bird channel on YouTube. They have a lot of wonderful content there, and of course, you can join me here next week for another story on Tales from the First Nations. I'm Jay Idle, and I'll talk to you next time. The beautiful song you're listening to now is provided by my dear friend Scott Brocklesby, and our podcast Image of the Moon was provided by Mark Lawton. We'll see you next time. All right, that's it. How'd we do, Dawa? Awesome. Phones? Excellent. Then I'll share it.